So setting up, custom streaming, and now live.
Good morning and welcome to the Free Accountants Podcast. We've been preparing this podcast for launch, but obviously with the coronavirus, things have changed and shifted. And I had scheduled for my podcast to have some time with Amanda Watts. But what we've decided to do is we've decided, instead of just having a podcast that we release at a later stage, to go live with you here today. So the focus of today's session, obviously, we're not looking here at technical matters. We're looking at marketing. But Amanda has this unique view on marketing, and it's not, your marketing message has to change in response to where we are right now. And what Amanda is doing is looking at helping accountants to maximize opportunities during this current crisis. Now, during my conversation with Amanda before this session went live, some accountants, when they hear marketing, they just turn off. This is much more than marketing. Amanda has some really practical insights, tips, approaches that she knows from her years of experience will work for you right now. So if you're joining us here live, please do interact. Please do ask comments. Amanda and myself, we've penciled in 40 to 45 minutes for this session. But please do ask comments. So whether you're with us on LinkedIn or whether you're with us on Facebook, put it in the comments below. The team will get it across here to Amanda and myself. So become part of the dialogue. Obviously, Amanda knows what she's going to talk about. So who is Amanda Watts? Now, many of you will already know who Amanda Watts is. I must have been picked up through a different sound source. Okay, folks, bear with me 1 second.
We can hear you again now.
Okay, so can you hear me again, Amanda?
I can, yes.
Right, folks, at some stage my batteries went in the intro, so I don't know where that is. But basically, Amanda is awesome. She's going to be talking about how to attract ideal customers. She's going to be talking about how to maximize opportunities despite the current crisis. Amanda, do you want to just give us a little bit of an introduction to yourself and why people should listen to you today and right now during this coronavirus?
Okay, absolutely. Thank you very much, Des. I'm sure it was a great intro. I don't know what you said, but thank you. So for those who are new to me, this is the first time that you've heard from me. My name's Amanda C. Watts. And I'll tell you the story of why we put the C in another time. But yeah, we can do that in a subsequent podcast. But I specialize in helping accountants and bookkeepers with marketing superpowers. However, today you don't need marketing superpowers. What you need is a way to navigate these really choppy waters and opportunities to enable you to protect yourself and your team and your clients, to enable you to pivot and maximize opportunities and profit from these opportunities. Now, we don't want to use everything that's going on as a way to take advantage of what's going on. But I would say, having spoken to probably about 200 accountants in the past couple of weeks, I would say that there is a key opportunity here where accountants are now a linchpin. So in the hierarchy of people that we need right now, we've got the NHS, and I would put accountants as a close second for any business owner. And we're going to be talking about how to sort that out today and how to make the most of those opportunities in a time when we're all feeling really exhausted and really like we've been working very hard the past few weeks. My background is in marketing. I've been in marketing and sales for 26 years. I've been working specifically with accountants for the past 3 to 4 years and absolutely love it. Not an accountant myself. My dad is a tax technician and has run his own firm. And as he was retiring, said, "Amanda, the accountants need you." And I went, "Okay, I'll give it a go." And I've stayed with accountants since then, and I love every moment of it. So I'm very excited to be here, and thank you, Des, for having me on the podcast stroke live today. Great to be here.
Okay, so Amanda, like the last 4 weeks have been a roller coaster, and they've been an absolute roller coaster. Accountants up until now, we've literally had them turn up in their hundreds and hundreds in terms of what do I need to do for myself and my own business? What do I need to do from a client? What are the government subsidies and schemes that are available? What are we going to do with employees? In the UK, it's all about furloughing. In Ireland, it's about subsidies. What do we do with higher pay? So everybody has been focused on that. Now, we are also getting accountants to get very, very focused on their client communications and literally just being available to clients and reaching out and connecting to clients.
Yeah.
You have a thought process that's a little bit more structured than just be there for them.
Yeah. And actually, before you have to be there for them, I would say that accountants need to be there for themselves first. And I don't mean in a business sense. So I've been a business coach now. I've been running my own business for over 10 years. And I used to do a lot of one-on-one coaching. And this is where the accountants have now pivoted to. They've become coaches right now. And accountants aren't trained to manage those relationships. And they're not trained to deal with people whose businesses are going out of business in such a huge capacity. They're not trained to deal with people crying on the phone. They're not trained to deal with people's emotions being really heightened and being taken out on them. So the first thing that I think that accountants really need to focus on right now is how to manage their own mental health and their own environment so that they can help their clients the best they can without themselves getting burnt out. I had a call last week with my clients, and one of them sat there and I'm like, "Are you okay, Stuart?" And he says, "Yes, I'm just sitting here listening. I am so tired that I just need to sit and listen. I don't want to say anything." And I thought that was great because I was able to hold a space for my clients. But who is holding a space for these accountants who are overworked and they've got 100, 200, 300 clients pulling at them? So the first thing that accountants need to do is protect themselves. So I talk about protecting. Okay, so protecting is the first thing. And the first thing that they need to do is protect themselves before they can protect their clients and their teams. And the way to do that is to make sure that they know exactly what their days are going to look like. So I talk about creating a time map. And a time map is where 8 o'clock in the morning you put in that you're going to spend time with your children, because so many of them are at home right now and they're juggling between work and family. So it's spending time with children, it's making time for exercise, it's making time to breathe. And you will show up better for your clients if you have time for yourself than if you're working from 6 o'clock in the morning till 12 o'clock at night. So a time map you can put together on a Google sheet, and you can have color codes for different things, and you just literally map out what your week's going to be like. And then you've got to learn to hold those boundaries. So you have to learn to say, right, okay, my client needs me now, but actually I've promised my children I would have lunch with them, so I'm going to have lunch with them. And it's things like that that will save the sanity of an accountant. I heard yesterday, and I don't know whether it's true, it is hearsay, but I've heard that the number of accountants who are getting depressed and feeling suicidal and not coping has gone through the roof. And as I say, that's hearsay. I'm going to do more research into that today. But if this is happening, then the first people that they have to protect is them. That's the most.
There's a couple of things in what you say there, Amanda. I 100% agree with you. The whole world is acknowledging the frontline service providers, medical, defense, the support. It's we can never, as a society, the criticism for those people can never arise again. They are in the front line. But I truly believe, like you, that accountants are going to be the second wave of defense, because once we protect the health, the economy is going to get us out of this. The entrepreneurs are going to get us out of this. But so I agree with that as a sentiment, but I absolutely agree with you know, we're dealing now, mental health and stress and more serious impacts of mental health are going to be a real issue. They're currently a real issue for a lot of business owners. And you see, if the accountants are going into engagements where they're depleted of energy, they can get sucked down. Like, what accountant is picking up the phone to a client and hearing good news these days?
Exactly.
So this whole area of protecting, and I love your concept of diary zoning. So I call it diary zoning. And you know, we see accountants making huge strides and huge progress when they become regimental about their diary zoning. But now it's not diary zoning. Now it's actually life zoning. Like, if you look at it, my kids here, we've self-quarantined. We shut down the office 2 weeks ago. I don't usually run live stream webinars with drum kits and toys and stuff out of this playroom. But even for our kids, to match for them and to get them to understand, okay, so mom and dad are at home, but we have work to do. So here's our structure. So now self-protection and self-management is just, it's much bigger than it ever was.
And we have to feed our mind in the right way. So we actually have an office, and we like you have self-isolated at home, and we turned our home office into a gym. So when we're back in the house, we can't move that gym stuff anywhere. Okay, so we've had to, I'm now sitting in my front room. It's no longer called the front room, it's called a war room. And this is where everything that we are doing is decided. So Matthew and myself, so my husband is also my business partner, and we decide everything that's going on in here, and we use Zoom to speak to the rest of the team. But we've got a zone where the kids, there's a big sign on the door, and the kids know that this is the war room. This is where we're going to keep our house going. This is where we're going to help people. This is where they can't enter. However, they know at 12 o'clock we're leaving the war room to spend time with them. They don't get up till 10 o'clock anyway. I have teenagers, very lucky. So they know at 5 o'clock that the war room is shutting its doors for the evening. They know all of this is happening. And because we've called it something, it's easy for us to have that differentiation. Whereas I think many accountants are trying to, oh, I've got to go and do work. If they can call it something, so that they can then tell their family that they're off to this place because it's not an office, that will help them actually differentiate between the time with the family and time with themselves. And we actually even got our children to make the sign for the door. So we got them involved in it, to colour in the war room sign, all that kind of thing, so that they were part of it. It's one of those things that we have to make the best of a really yucky situation right now. And it's making sure that we do the right things for the right people, and the right people first and foremost are our family. Secondly, we need to protect our clients and our team. They're the other people that we have to protect.
Yeah, and it's just, I use the lifeboat analogy. You know, there's people in the water, and you're captain of your boat, and I describe it as having 3 boats right now. It's the boat for your family, and we've got to protect them. And in protecting them, we're showing leadership to our clients and to our team. Then we have the team, and we have to protect them. And then we have our clients. But if you're not in the right position, or if you overload that boat, you're going to sink the boat, and your ability to save anybody is going to be impacted. So it's protecting your energy, protecting your mental health, your physical health, your emotional health, and it's never been more important. So step one for you, Amanda, is protect.
Yeah, it's protect. So I've spoken a bit about protecting yourself. The ways that I'd love people to start thinking about is meditating, which is way outside a lot of accountants' comfort zone. But that will help you get some space in your head without you feeling overwhelmed. Making sure you exercise every single day, making sure you cut out as much news as possible. Unfortunately, accountants can't cut too much out because they actually have to translate the news for us mere mortals who are not accountants. So they are actually taking on a lot more of the negative news out there than many people. And I would also say, make sure that you do have a switch off time if you can. And then it's about communicating. So you can start protecting yourself if you communicate with your clients and your team really well. So when we talk about team, the amazing thing about this happening now and not 20 years ago is we're digital. So if you're going to protect your team, what you need to do is lead your team, like you were talking about, being a leader. So you lead your family, you lead your team. To lead your team, you need to make sure that they feel safe and secure. To make them feel safe and secure, you need to talk to them. It's only through communication do you feel safe and secure. Same with clients. So you have a morning huddle, and everyone jumps on Zoom for 5 minutes. And in that morning huddle, you say, what are the 3 things that you've got planned for today? If there's one thing that you need to complete, what would it be? And then in the evening at 4, 5 o'clock, you jump on into an afternoon huddle and you say, how did you do? What were your struggles? What were your challenges? How are you feeling out of 10? My favorite question in the world. Out of 10, how do you feel? And that very quickly gets people to get into how they are. And then you say, what would make it go up to an 8 or a 10 if they're at a 5? And then people have to articulate what's missing. And that clarity enables people to get out of feeling like rubbish and enable them to move on and feel better. So you need to manage your team and make sure that they're not sitting anywhere between a 1 and a 5. And you want them to sit between a 5 and a 10. And it's the partners or the business owner or the sole practitioner's responsibility to make sure that that happens. So you do that with a morning huddle and an afternoon huddle. That's how you protect your team, I would say. Do you have anything that you would suggest as well with protecting the team? Just to throw it back.
For me, protecting the team is about connection, contact, and transparency. Yeah. So one of the big challenges that everybody has right now is fear.
Yeah.
Is fear, and it's I keep saying this. That, you know, that there's fear. And fear is being driven and escalated and amplified. But there's a reality here. There is a reason to be fearful. Yeah. And it's not just accountants. It's the entire world is fearful because this virus has shaken up the entire world order. So that fear and the fear that people have for themselves, for their family, for their jobs, for their incomes, it's now is the time. Your team, from my perspective, if your team cannot lead your customers right now, well, it can't just be about you as a partner. It has to be about the entire team. So your first job is manage yourself. Yep. Your second job is manage your team. And when I say manage, this is like management is it doesn't convey the emotion of what I'm talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
It's about getting into a position where, okay, I can help. Yeah. I describe it, Amanda, what you're touching on is, do you know when you go on the airlines and they say, if the oxygen masks come down, apply your own oxygen mask first before attending to your children.
That's exactly right.
And that's it's, do you know, there's so many negatives out of this, which everybody is aware of. But let's talk about the positives.
Yes.
The positives. People are now forcing to be leaders.
Yeah, absolutely. And the exciting thing, and I'm going to go off topic out of my protect, pivot, profit, but the exciting thing is you and I have been saying to accountants, you need to step up and lead for the past 10 years. We've been saying that this is not something that is is an option. And now only when the coronavirus hits us are they starting to offer advisory, give it that extra advice, be there, help your clients, make sure that they're in a really good situation. It's not just about the compliance work. Now it's about stepping up and leading every single one of your clients. And that's the amazing thing.
And you see, this is the frustrating part, because the frustrating part is accountants have immediately gone into advisory mode in a crisis. And every time there's a crisis, accountants always go into advisory mode and solve the problems.
Yeah.
So accountants are able to do this.
Yes.
It's about how they position it, how they present it, and how they sell it.
Yes.
Because you see, clients have no issue. Customers have no issue paying for value, no issue whatsoever. But it's almost like accountants are reluctant heroes. Whereas coronavirus is proving how heroic accountants truly are.
Yeah, totally. And I talk about marketing superpowers, which you and I, you're very aware of that. And we're not talking about marketing superpowers per se today. But one of the things that accountants will need to think about moving forward is how to ride the wave that they have been on the crest of so far, and actually stay in the position of advisory and not retreat back to where they feel more comfortable. So it's very clear when they're put under pressure, they step up. When the world is pretty okay and they're getting referrals and they're running an okay practice, it's very easy to get comfortable again. They've all proven to themselves that they can step up, and there are people out there who are doing absolutely amazing things. You see it on LinkedIn, you hear it, you and I have been running some great meetings for accountants, just helping them get through this and navigate the waters for themselves. And we've seen them step up and lead. And I think that I'm really, really excited. I know it sounds, we're having a rough time at the moment, but I'm really excited about how the profession now, where it was going to take a while to get everybody moving forward, we're here. They don't have a choice.
Well, you see, and what's new in the accountancy profession? There's nothing new in the accountancy profession, because some firms have been doing things for 5 years, for 10 years, for 15 years, or 20 years. So when I talk about new, I'm talking about the majority. Okay.
Yes.
So if you look at what's happened overnight, and it's too early to talk about opportunity, because there's going to be pain. There's uncertainty. We don't know where this is going. But if we took a look at this on a 5-year view, so if we took a look at this on a 5-year view rather than a 1-week view or a 3-week view or a 3-month view, but if we look at this on a 5-year view, what coronavirus has done is we've got a blank sheet.
Yes.
It's a blank sheet.
Yep.
Coronavirus is now forcing us to make decisions. Things like remote working. There are accountants who 2 weeks ago, when I said to them about remote working and the benefits of remote working, would have said to me, Des, that'll never happen in this business. Exactly. They're now remote working.
Exactly.
The people are being forced, the likes of the D-grade clients. Well, there's no room for D-grade clients right now. So the people who won't listen, who won't pay, who you really are just not right fit for your business, well, the decision is easier for them now.
Yeah, absolutely.
The who's and the people are so important.
Yeah.
So the who's are important, but now we're looking at making decisions, and maybe there's now it's crystallized. Well, people that are truly performing, contributing, that are the right fit in the long term. So the opportunity here is, and again, I don't want to be too enthusiastic, because people have criticized me for being too enthusiastic at times over the last couple of weeks. But the opportunity is to shift your model, shift your business. And if there's things that accountants haven't been doing,
yeah, totally.
Like, don't waste a good crisis.
Yeah. So the second thing that I wanted to speak to about today was about pivoting. So you use the word shift, I use the word pivot. It's time to pivot. And we don't know if we're pivoting for 3 months or 3 years, but what we have to do is pivot. And we have to pivot on our message. So I think it's really interesting that you spoke about the lifeboat. I was speaking to a guy called Chris yesterday, an accountant who wants to grow his practice. So by the way, I'm still having sales calls every single day and selling people into my programs. So anyone who says that people are not are not buying, are not thinking about the future, I have accountants reaching out to me who absolutely understand that there is opportunity there. So Des, you're absolutely right with that. But I was talking to Chris yesterday, and when accountants, when I used to get accountants to sell, if you imagine a triangle and Maslow's hierarchy of needs, at the top is everything that's run by ego. So it's about wealth and status and all that kind of thing. At the bottom, it's security. Right now, accountants used to sell, we're going to help you have more profit, sell your business, exit your business, all of the status and all of that kind of thing. Now accountants need to help businesses with the security, the bottom of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So we're not selling the yacht anymore. What we're selling is the lifeboat. And accountants need to understand that if they can sell the lifeboat to a business, they will then be entitled to help that business reach their yacht as we come outside of this. And that makes me very excited. It's a long journey, but that's what you and I mean by opportunity, is the accountant can give these small businesses the lifeboat, and one day they will help them build the yacht. So that's
I love that. I love that analogy, Amanda. It's excellent. That is excellent. And here's the thing, you know, part of the problem as I see it is, let's take for example the accountancy profession. Okay, so part of the issue with the accountancy profession is that, well, it's good enough. Okay, accountants in general, if they run their business well, they can generate six-figure profits. They can, you know, they can work through, and you know, when it comes to making changes, well, you know, it's good enough. So why would I need to make that change? Why would I need to make that stretch? But you see, right now, it's, you know, your business owners, any of them who are in this good enough yacht seeking stage,
yeah,
we're all the way back to basics.
Exactly.
Like and what is the value? Somebody that has nearly everything, but what's the value of the person who, when they nearly have everything, they get them that one last thing they want, versus the person when they're on the verge of losing everything?
Yes.
And they save their business. And that's where accountants are right now.
Yeah. And I talk about being vital. So I talk about how accountants need to position themselves as vital accountants. And I'm so excited because out of this crisis, it's given me the kick up the bum to create my next book. So I've started writing it. And it's all based around vital, which is about bringing value to the table. It's about being valued, so bringing value and being valued. It's about creating an impact on the businesses that you work with, but more importantly, actually making sure that those businesses are creating an impact in the world and you are creating an impact in the world. Being vital is about building trust with your ideal clients, and also whatever industry you decide that you want to specialize in, when that's a whole nother conversation, but building trust in that industry. And then the A of vital is all about being agile. And right now, the vital accountants, the people who are vital out there, are being agile. The accountants who are moving with this situation, having to think really quickly. So if you think about your typical accountant, I'm really sorry, guys, and you know that I say this about you, you're very left-brained. And when you're very left-brained, you analyze a lot. You haven't got time to analyze. You're having to think fast. And there are many accountants out there that are proving just how vital they are because they're being agile. And that, again, excites me because accountants like to put themselves in a box, and now they're having to come outside of that box and move. And then the L of vital is about being lucrative for your clients, and any business that can help another business make money will make money themselves. So that either the more money you can help a business make or the more money you can help a business save means that people are going to invest in you. And if you can position yourself as a money saving business at the moment, because that's what people need, then when it comes to people spending money, they're going to invest in you because you're a vital accountant for them. So you need to be vital in a crisis as well as being vital in a time of boom. And you need to be vital more in a time of crisis than ever before.
And tell us this, Amanda, can you take vital from the top, just in case anybody missed it? So can you run what the vital acronym works
Yeah,
through?
So vital is bring value to the table and be valued. Okay, so the only way that people will value you is if you bring value, and you can bring value through your content, you can bring value through your insights, you can bring value through showing up just for your clients, you can bring value showing up for the world. It doesn't matter. Okay, you can choose. The second thing is creating an impact. So the I of vital is impact. The best way to create an impact is to make a difference in people's lives. It's a ripple effect. So even if you're in startup mode, you can create an impact by helping one business. And if we talk about the current crisis that we're going on, if an accountant can help 2 or 3 businesses a day, you're making an impact in the world. Okay. The third thing is trust, with T for trust of vital. Now, I'm seeing a lot of accountants reach out to me going, Amanda, I'm really frustrated. I'm not getting paid for my advice. My advice to these people is count the thank yous, because those thank yous will turn into money later on. Okay. Right now, there are businesses that are bleeding that don't know how to pay their next bills, make sure that their team are not, so you can go in and ask for money for this. There's no problem with that. I'm not saying that there isn't money out there, but what I'm saying is if you're getting frustrated, count the thank yous, because a thank you builds trust, and that trust will, I promise, hand on heart, will convert into high paying clients once we start to come out of this. Okay. Then the A is agile. And it's about having an agile approach to innovation. Right now, I would also say it's about having an agile approach to situations, which they're doing. And then finally, L is lucrative, and it's about helping a business either save money or make money. If you can help a business save money or make money, then they are going to give you money, because you're helping them be more lucrative, which in turn will make you be more lucrative.
So Amanda, just on that make money, save money thing, okay?
Yeah.
Right. So it's really interesting. I've had a number of contacts from the likes of business coaches and business consultants in the last week and a half, okay? And they right now, no matter what they do, the accountants still have a stronger position, because the accountants absolutely are the people that can help on the save money piece.
Mm-hmm.
And, the better accountants can help them make money. But like, who is more important and more valuable than accountants right now in that area? And just from a psychology perspective for accountants, okay? So accountants are one of my big concerns, Amanda, and I know the recession was slightly different in the UK than it was in Ireland. We had, back in 2008, it was rough here, and it went on for a longer time. But we're already seeing accountants collapsing on fees, collapsing on service. You've got to make informed decisions here. But if somebody turns around to their accountant and says, well, I can't pay you this month, but what bills are you paying that could be more important than your accountant right now?
Exactly. And
so this crisis has basically pushed accountants, whether they want to be there or not, as the most valuable people in the economy.
Yep. But the problem that we've got, Des, is that accountants by nature are not natural salespeople. They're not naturally able to articulate their value, because they're technicians. They spent years being absolutely amazing at what they do, but they've had heads down being amazing. They haven't been shouting about it. So the business owner doesn't see their value, which is why I talk about being vital and positioning yourself as vital. Because if you don't position yourself as vital, the first thing to cut is the accountant, because people look through, this is a cost, this is a cost, this is a cost. And that's why positioning is really important. So when I talk about the third thing, so I've spoken about protecting, pivoting, I've touched on slightly about pivoting, what it is that you're going to deliver, but we're talking about profiting here. And when we start talking about profiting, it's about them believing in themselves. And unfortunately, many accountants don't believe in themselves, which is why they give in on their fees. It's why they don't get the high value clients and they take on any clients, because it goes back to themselves, and they don't have the mindset of how blimmin' amazing they are. Like everyone, when I have interviews like this for podcasts, they say to me, oh, who's your hero? Well, my hero is my dad, because my dad is the person I turn to for everything financial, everything emotional, everything mindset, everything. I run it through my dad. I am sure a lot of that is because of his insights as an accountant and as a tax technician. Not everybody turns to their dad. It's not the common thing. And I just want accountants to see, I want you guys, if you're watching this, you need to see how vital you are. And once the first sale that you have to do is to yourself. And if you can sell to yourself how amazing you are, then you can go out and you can start to say, no, I'm not reducing my fees. I'm actually helping you save money. I'm helping you through this crisis, but I too have a family to feed. Okay. It's when you go out and say, I've seen that you haven't heard from your accountant. Would you like my help? Great. You would like my help. Right. To do this is this amount of money. Okay. But the first sale is to themselves. Once they've sold themselves, then they can grow the practice of their dreams.
And Amanda, let's be honest here. The economic outlook is not good. Governments have moved with huge stimulus packages that would have been inconceivable. Like, you know, there was talks about Brexit and the economic impact of Brexit. As I said to somebody a couple of weeks ago, I vote for bringing back Brexit as being the main issue here.
Exactly.
So the economic circumstances here are horrific.
Yep.
People are going to lose jobs.
Yep.
There is going to be a recession, okay? At a minimum, possibly even a depression, some economic commentators are saying now. But here's the thing. Businesses are going to be the backbone of the recovery, okay? Now, accountants will say to me, but there's going to be less businesses, okay? There's going to be less businesses.
There are going to be less businesses. However, the businesses that do come out of this will be wiser, more valuable, more vital. So not just the accountants, but the businesses will be more vital. So out of the last crisis that we had, Netflix came out, okay? We saw blockbusters go, we saw Netflix come out, okay? So out of all of these pains, we have amazing businesses that are created. I want every accountant to Google this sentence. What businesses thrive in an economy, okay? And when they Google that and see that at number one is the word accountant, hopefully that will help them see that they are needed. And I know that you're saying, and Des, I love you dearly, but I know that you're saying that, you know, it's going to be bad. We're going to have a depression. It's going to be difficult. What I want the accountants to understand is that, yes, out there in the world, it's going to be awful, but there's only one thing that we can control, and that's our actions. So we have to make sure that we're not the business that goes bust. We have to make sure that we are the vital accountant.
And here's the real point, though, Amanda.
Yeah.
The real point is, even if the economy drops, accountants are going to be more needed than ever before.
Exactly.
And really what it is about accountants positioning themselves. Guys, I hate to say this in a public forum like this, but there's a lot of bad accountants out there. There's a lot of accountants that I already know are with the best will in the world, are not going to be able to reinvent themselves as we go through this process. So for those who do, there's a huge opportunity. Yeah. For those who get focused on their business model, their who's, their customers, their product, their price, their positioning, their growth models. For those accountants who truly make themselves, to use Amanda's phrase, vital. Yeah. That's where there's opportunity, because not all the profession is going to react the same way. You know, I know, and everybody knows there's going to be accountancy firms out there who, when this is all over, they're going to go back to doing what they've always done, getting the result. And those firms who innovate and grow during this time, there's where the opportunity is, because it's now about you being ready and preparing as we go through these difficult times right now, but it's preparing for the far side and becoming vital to more people, where's the opportunity to attract more new clients, more new customers. Because Amanda, I don't know how you feel about it, but I think we've got a lot of business owners out there right now who are looking at their accountants saying, what are you doing for me? And while lots of accountants are going way, way above and beyond, they're seeing, well, not all accountants are equal.
Not all accountants are equal. And the exciting thing is in times of crisis, it's those who step up that succeed, and those who hide their head and think that it's going to go away, or decide not to step up for their clients, their team and their family, are they going to be the ones that are going to be overlooked. And I talk about OCD accountants. So they're overlooked, they're commoditized, and they're decaying. We're going to see so many OCD accountants over the next year that are just literally, I'm not even going to say decaying, they're just going to die. And I mean their business, not them personally. Yeah. And
what was the C in OCD accountants? Overlooked?
Commoditized. So the people who step up will be able to attract those high value clients, and a high value client will invest in an accountant. Just so that people are aware, I pay a business coach £2,000 a month for business coaching. Okay. Now, if I'm prepared to pay a business coach £2,000 a month for my business coaching, why would I not be prepared to pay my accountant, who helps me with my profits, who helps me see the mistakes I'm making, who helps me see what my future is going to be like and the mistakes I've made in the past and how much money I've got, and helps me tweak that 1% so that I make an extra 10%? Why would I not pay an accountant? Do you know why I won't pay an accountant? Because no accountant has asked me for that amount of money. That's the only reason. No accountant has asked me for that amount of money. Okay.
Yeah, you see, there's no issue about getting paid.
Yeah.
It is about providing the value.
Yeah.
It is about providing the value, which comes back to you. It's about, it starts by accountants believing in themselves. And it starts by, now, okay, there's lots of things accountants can do. So some accountants don't believe in themselves because they're not actually providing the service. They're not providing the value.
I agree with that. Yes, totally.
So there is a requirement here for a business model tweak, but
Yeah.
you know, that's a process, that's a methodology, and now is the time. Like we've seen in some of our Profit Pro members where they're going down the route of, well, remote working has been foisted on us. Let's lean into it.
Yeah.
And we're going to have a session today where we're looking at remote working. And we have people who, okay, well, what is our service offering, where people haven't necessarily gone down the route of digital firms. They've bought a few apps and they've got a few software products, but they're not truly a digital firm. I just, Amanda, so first of all, there's a comment in here from Rory, that his daughter is watching our live stream here, and his daughter, pink is her favorite color. So she loves your nails. Okay, so that's really important. David is on here, Amanda, and he's talking about on fear, that there's an awful lot of fear has been driven by the negative headlines. There is a lot of positive out there in how people are reacting. And you know, we hear about the new cases, but we don't hear about the recoveries and the treatments that are working. So you know, there is, like, and I think that's really important. I think it's really important because there's some people who are going, sure, it's all fear mongering. Sure, this is going to pass, and they're over optimistic. Then there's other people who've got sucked into being over pessimistic, whereas the truth is in the middle. And like, what advice do you have in terms of communicating to customers where the reality is? Because nobody knows the answers right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that accountants are fab with numbers and helping a business survive. Where they really need to spend some time is learning how to keep calm, and be very British, actually, keep calm and carry on. We all need to tap into our inner Britishness, because like inside me, every single day, I'm a little bit like a swan, where I'm paddling underneath really, really fast, but on the surface, I'm trying to be really calm, because my job is to lead, and a leader's job is to stay calm in the face of adversity. Okay. So all accountants, they need to understand, yes, they're allowed to be fearful, but kind of squash it down and lead. And I'm also a huge believer in what you tell your mind is exactly how you start to feel. So I do a lot of affirmations. So life is abundant, I'm very happy, all these kind of things. And if you actually install this into your mind, you will start to calm down and feel that way yourself. If you put all this negativity in your mind through the news, not the bits that they have to know about, which is to do with their business, but the bits about the deaths and the number of cases, then all you're going to do is have fear kick in. Okay. And I did a post on LinkedIn 2 days ago about, I watch the news at 10 o'clock, just quickly caught it at the end of watching a program, and I felt horrible. And then I went, right, I need to go into gratitude. Right now, I need to go into gratitude, and started listing all the things I was grateful for, and it got me out of fear. So I would definitely say that the way to get out of fear is to be grateful for everything else. Yeah, we're stuck in the house. I'm spending every hour of every day with my 2 teenage kids and my husband. Let's turn that into something that we're grateful for, shall we? Okay, so you have to just it's how you perceive it. So I definitely think practice gratitude. And if you see something negative, try and find a positive spin on it. Yeah.
Yeah, the one thing that strikes me as you're speaking there, Amanda, is about control. Okay, so coming back to David's point about the fear that's been driven, we can control. Like people are describing Facebook almost as the devil at the moment, right? Yeah. But to be honest with you, I'm not a big Facebook user, and despite the fact I'm on social media, it's not my natural place to be. So it's somewhere where I go from a business perspective. But you know, some of the best places that I go are Facebook groups that I'm a member of, that I've chosen my groups. I don't go in and look at my Facebook feed. No. I go straight to, here's the group, because if I go in here, I can ask questions, I can get positive reinforcement. And just for any of you watching, we have set up a Profit Pro Facebook group, Accountants for Growth. So perhaps Jonathan and Mihal, if you could post that into the links, just that if anybody wants to get into our Facebook. I know we're streaming, and many of you that we're streaming to now are into Facebook, but any of us who are watching us on LinkedIn or YouTube or any of the other channels we're streaming to, get into the Facebook group. People say to me, oh, I don't do Facebook. But we are in control. We are in control. You are in control whether you read the paper. You are in control whether you listen to the news. You are in control whether you buy into the fear. And we are in control once this external source, we're in control how we deal with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you can't control everything.
Yeah. But you can control
the one
yourself.
thing you can't control is yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. And I work with new as well as established accountants. And right now, there's a really nice opportunity for new firms to scoop up lots and lots of business, because the firms that are established and are fighting fires for their clients are leaving a huge gap of people like myself, who has never heard from their accountant, by the way. I haven't heard from my accountant. All right. Now, the only thing, I'm going to forgive him. The only thing is we're in a very stable situation. So I think that we could be at the bottom of his list because we're not crisis, but we are still 2 weeks down. That's the only thing. Okay. But what I would say is, for new firms and for those who only have a handful of clients, there's a really good opportunity. And you can sit here and you can watch the news, or you can sit here and control your situation and start reaching out to people and enjoy the fact that there are people out there who are looking for somewhere to plug their umbilical cord in and get some help. And they're literally walking around in there going, where can I plug this? I need help. And there are accountants out there that can say, plug it into me. I can help you. And that's where we need to ensure that you are out there being visible, promoting yourself, actually positioning yourself in a new way, not in the way, we're not selling the yacht, we're selling the lifeboat, okay? But position yourself so that people do reach out to you. And my clients are still getting clients this week. They're still taking on high value clients right now.
Some of our Profit Pro members are taking on, for example, a huge success story. Ken shared with us how a couple of years ago they got rid of one of their clients, or one of their clients left, and they decided, oh, we're going to get a bookkeeper. We don't need you guys as much. Yep. Straight in, Ken went through the pricing process, went through the conversation, presented a price to the client that was more than what they were paying before, which was one of the reasons they left. And didn't even blink and said, if I'm going to provide this service, here it is. Client signed on the dotted line. And multiple wins from our Profit Pro members in terms of winning new business. And winning new business and pricing higher than their existing customers. Because when people shift, okay, here's the new normal. The new normal that the accountants are envisaging is not cheap fees.
No, it's value.
I hate to go Jerry Maguire here on everybody, but it is, Jerry Maguire was right. It's about less clients and more care, because too many accountants have too many non-ideal customers.
Yeah, Absolutely. And are wasting time with I call them vampire clients. So you call them C and D grade clients. Same thing. They're the people that suck the life out of you. And right now they have accountants. You have accountants that are working with vampire clients that are sucking the life out of them. The accountants aren't protecting themselves enough, and their mental state is being affected because of the vampire clients. Get rid of them. Now's a really good time to cut that rubbish, get rid of the vampire clients, and only work with radiators, the ones that radiate warmth and make you feel great. So.
Okay, so just in terms of the comments that are in here, I do absolutely want to give a shout out to Brian Lynch, who's on lockdown in Australia. Brian, great for you to check in with us today. Brian, thank you very much. Yourself and Michal developed the technological basis for our seminars, webinars, broadcasting. It must be back 3-4 years ago. So you were instrumental in our progress. Here's a question in. Here's a question in from LinkedIn. What about restarting their career after a break? Like somebody now teaches yogas and writes, so it's not going to be a full-time job. But setting up a new business is a full-time job. I'm not sure whether we can speak directly to that, Amanda. But arising out of this, there is going to be an explosion of new businesses, and I see it for multiple reasons. I see it. People are going to lose their jobs. People's wages are going to be cut. People, like I feel for those people that have to get onto public transport every day and continue to go to their jobs. People that have been working from home, that are spending unbelievable quality time with their kids and family, they're not going to want to go back to jobs. So there's going to be a whole lot of new businesses out of this. And that's, that's an opportunity, and it's an opportunity to set these people up. You've all heard me talk about how the subscription model is the way to go. There couldn't be a better time with these new businesses setting up to shift your business model to embrace. And I know for some accountancy firms, startups are not going to be the target. They're not going to be the target audience because some firms prefer more mature businesses. But this is just an example of some things that are going to happen.
I would definitely not underestimate what kind of businesses are going to be created from this. So a startup years ago used to be kind of classed as a side hustle. I think that people are going to wake up in months, weeks, days, we don't know, and they're going to be like, right, I am not passionate about my job. I'm giving it up. I am not feeling it, and I can't do this anymore. I nearly, my whole family could have died and they didn't. How do I then make the best of my life moving forward? And out of all of this pain, we're going to see some amazing new businesses. We're going to see people actually creating a life that they want to live. So in the 1980s, my dad was still, right, remember, he's an accountant, tax technician, still wearing a bowler hat and carrying a briefcase to work. All right. He used to work for one of the big four. Okay. So my dad was still doing that. Now in 2020, so 50 years, gosh, that makes me feel, no, 40 years. Phew. I was going to say I'm not 50. 40 years later, we are seeing a huge difference, and people are totally understanding their spiritual side more. They're understanding that their mental health is the most important thing. It's not fight. It's not the 80s. It's not about the money. It's about having a life that gives them freedom. And just because we have these great opportunities with regards to the going digital, if you've got a laptop, you can work anywhere. Doesn't mean that you can't make money if you're working anywhere. You can create an amazing business. I run a laptop business. I could be having this conversation on the beach if we weren't restricted. Okay. I have a really good business. So people need to get their heads around startups and not a side hustle all the time.
And you see, here's the thing, Amanda. So I think my sound was gone at the start of this session. But this was supposed to be part of the Free Accountant podcast.
Yeah.
And this is my focus. And my focus for accountants has been being free.
Yes.
So freedom of time, financial freedom, freedom of terms of who you work with, from a team perspective and from a customer's perspective, how you work, flexibility. And again, I don't want to seem too optimistic for people that are having a difficult time, but in terms of becoming a free accountant, coronavirus is giving us a platform to make those changes in the business, to build the business that you want.
Yes.
I think there's going to be an awful lot more people free. I talked about this last week, Amanda. If I just look at myself, our kids, we haven't left the house in 3 weeks.
Yep.
3 weeks.
Yep.
We had to go training. We had to go swimming. We have to go to gymnastics. We have to go here, this activity, this day out, that day out, this shop, that shop. 3 weeks.
Yep.
We're now going for walks in the wood.
Yeah.
We're now playing in the back garden.
Yep.
It's the simplification. It's
Yeah.
not that we didn't go for walks in the wood before. It's not that we didn't play in the back garden. It's not that we didn't spend time with our kids. But now it's giving them a whole different view of life, which I describe as almost Back to the Future in 1984.
Oh, and it's lovely. It's amazing.
1984, we didn't have mobile phones in 1984. We didn't have laptops.
Exactly. And like, I've got a 17-year-old, trying to get him to cut the grass for the past 3 years has been horrendous. He woke up the other day and went, "Shall I cut the grass?" You know, it's like the world is changing. And I think I just want to grab hold of something that you've just said there. So you're not going out, you're not spending money, you aren't taking them swimming, you're probably not going to restaurants, you're not going shopping, buying clothes. When we come out the other end of this, there is going to be a lot of money. All right. So I know that I'm going to save probably £2,000 this month by being in isolation. That means I have £2,000 to spend on something when we come out of this. Okay. So there is a lot. And I know that, you know, people aren't wanting us to be too optimistic, but there are loads of people out there who are not spending money that will spend money the moment they know that they can. And I think that it's really important that we see this.
So here's a question in from Peter Jarman, and Peter is the managing partner at PJ Co, which was the UK Firm of the Future 2018. Now it just so happens that Peter is going to be on with us. Peter is going to be on with us in the near future. We just need to get it scheduled. And he was supposed to be a podcast, but we decided to flip his podcast into a. Now Peter's question here, Amanda, is: do you think we should aim our marketing solely at COVID-19 problems, or continue with the generic accounting marketing? And I have had accountants who've embarked on 2020 marketing plans, and their question is the same. What's your advice to people on that?
Yeah, so I had 3 months worth of marketing all lined up, ready to go, talking about celebrity marketing, building a brand. You know, I was really proud of this content that we'd created. I can't use it right now. Okay. Now, some of it I can pivot and actually apply to what the situation is going on in the world. But I would say that, again, we need to be marketing to the life raft, not to the yacht. If you, and I know Peter well, and I know that Peter is very prolific on social media. So I would say your content that goes out every single day, and this one is specific for Peter, your content that goes out every single day still needs to be the content that you've been using. So on your Twitter, on your Facebook, where you're posting multiple times a day, keep that going out. But what I would say is your quality content, maybe you record a video once or twice a week or even more often. Maybe you're going to write an in-depth article. Maybe you're going to create an ebook or a white paper. That has to be relevant to now, to resonate. But don't worry, if you've got loads of content going out, you can keep that content going out, but make sure you've got some really key pieces that are relevant and resonate right now as well, and weave them in. We can't stop marketing. Like, I've got in my Facebook group a 7-day challenge starting next Monday on how to get more clients despite the current crisis. Some people are going to be so annoyed at me when I start promoting that. Others are going to be like, yes, I need that, I'm going to join. You have to see there are people on a journey in different stages.
Okay, so Peter, I hope that helps. I hope that helps. And Peter, I look forward to seeing you on here, hopefully before the weekend, that we'll get to do a similar session with you. Amanda, we're coming up on the hour. Closing comments. I can't believe an hour is gone. I've just spotted the time. Closing comments. Closing advice. Parting words of wisdom from Amanda C. Watts.
Stay safe. Stay well. And most importantly, know that the situation that we're in right now is temporary. And if you position yourself as a vital accountant, opportunities will come to you now and in the future.
Amanda, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for coming on with us today on our live stream. And I just want to, I've made 2 pages of notes here. I found your session incredibly valuable. So thank you very much. And we look forward to having you back on again soon.
Thank you.
Folks, from me, we have, in terms of today, we do not have a live webinar scheduled today. Our Profit Pro members, obviously, we have a private session for them. We are running webinars. We are producing material for both Irish and UK accountants. And we're now making contact with from a tax, from an employment, from an HR perspective. We're setting up a specific and exclusive UK group where we can provide them with relevant technical information right now. And in the meantime, we're here on the likes of LinkedIn, Facebook, and maybe if the guys could put up a link to the Facebook group. What we're doing is we're putting everything that we have instantly available into the Facebook group. Yes, we are building a website. Yes, we will have a members area, but obviously, as you know, these things don't come up overnight. They're not built overnight. We're building the material. Whatever we have to support accountants, we're giving it all right now. So stay safe, stay connected. We're in this together. And the final question for you as you go off this session is the question that I keep asking myself, and I keep getting my accountants to ask themselves: what is the one thing I can do? What's the one thing you can do such that by doing it will make everything else easier or unnecessary? That question, to ask that every morning, to ask that as a reset question to regain your focus if things are getting out of kilter for you. So thanks for joining us on here. Any questions, put them in the comments. If you have anything specific you want to ask Amanda, I'm sure if you tag Amanda, she'll be able to come in and answer. Folks, until I see you again, let's get it done.